Kedves 11-esek, az Interwar period kezdődik. Most fogunk beszélni azokról a diktatúrákról, totális rendszerekről, amik kialakultak a két háború között. Az első pedig a fasizmus lesz. So ladies and gents, continuing our notes, we are talking about the interwar period, and within that we go to Italy to see fascism. So first of all, you remember that Italy was an Entente power during the war, joined the Entente in 1915, and mostly fought with the monarchy, with the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, and actually they won the war. They were promised, they had been promised territories, but they were not given. So actually they were a dissatisfied winner. As you see in these numbers, Italy was a small country, but they contributed a lot in the war. And of course, during the war, as you see, in billion dollars and million people, they had a great part of fighting. So actually they sacrificed a lot in the war to win for the Entente or the victory of the Entente, but they benefited little. So they didn't really get territories. In the north of the country, they had some new territories, but that's almost nothing. As you see here, the new border, which is blue, but they wanted territories. These arrows shows what interest they had, but unfortunately they didn't get it. So this was a disappointment. And after World War I, those soldiers went home and they saw that they cannot continue their everyday lives. So the peace treaty of Versailles was just a shame. They didn't like it. There was growing nationalism in Italy and they wanted to make their country great again. Serious unemployment and inflation, the loss of the value of money, also affected the country. So there was economic crisis and the democratic system failed. They couldn't give solution to these people. So there was also the fear of communism because it was spreading from the Soviet Union. And they believed, or actually more and more people believed, that a strong state is needed. So Mussolini's fascism gave an answer. How? Mussolini, or the other word for him is the duce. This means that the prince or the leader, he was called while he was at peak of his power. Benito Mussolini was a left-wing journalist, so he was far away from nationalism before the war. But he fought in the Great War, and when he came back, he witnessed the same things I just told you. So became anti-communist and created the Fascist Party in 1919, during the Versailles Peace Treaties. Its symbol became the fasces. This was a Latin word. Oh, sorry, I moved this. So, what is this? This object belonged to the ancient Rome. So, ancient Roman magistrates, high-rank officials used this as a symbol of power. So this tradition was renewed by the Duce, used this as a symbol and show up the pagan power of the ancient Roman Empire that have to be recreated. So this is why we call it fascism. His followers became the black shirts, so he started to use a black shirt uniform-like thing as a kind of military force. This was later used by Adolf Hitler with the Nazis as well, just he used the brown shirts followers, so he had black shirts. What did they do? They beat everyone who opposed Mussolini or was communist or was a left-wing politician. This was a violent group in the streets of Italy. Became popular by 21-22, and in 22 there was the takeover of power. This is an Italian term, marcia su Roma. This means to march on Rome, so they marched in and they took power. Well, to tell the truth, the king, Victor Emmanuel III, at that time, passed power to Mussolini because he thought it would be easy to control him. He believed, so the king said, that if you become prime minister, we will control you, and that would be a beneficial thing. But very soon it didn't happen. This is when Mussolini and his black shirts are marching in the streets of an Italian city, Naples. Mussolini's state. So what happened? He got power and very soon abolished democracy. So he passed laws that made absolute power for himself and he introduced a dictatorship, the control of one single man, and it was himself. His political enemies were put aside soon, imprisoned or executed, and the citizens had to be loyal to him. So he expected maximum loyalty, so no one could say anything different that he said. Extreme nationalism means that Italian people had to understand that nationalism is the basis of the policy, so Italy they have to be proud of, Italy has to be made great. It's not an anti-Semite point of view. So there is a difference between Nazism and fascism. It's not about killing the Jews or something like that. It's about Italy only. It's really anti-communist, but I told you before, supported by rich businessmen. Oh yes. So capitalists, great company owners, just think about the Fiat company, for example, in Italy. They were really cooperative with Mussolini. Why? Because these great business people didn't want to lose their power by the communists. So Mussolini financed the party through the great business people. Ex-soldiers and disappointed people joined, of course, and of course religious people, because Mussolini defended the Roman Catholic religion. Going to speak about it later. He used strong propaganda about greatness of the country and the perfection of himself. So he was a great leader and really sporty and really strong. He liked showing off his physical abilities. I'm going to show you pictures soon. There were youth movements for young people. He said that young people must follow the rules and have to be good citizens in the future. This is something really similar to Hitler's idea. Of course, this is also a copy of Mussolini, the Hitlerjugend, where children from very early age were educated by the state to be perfect Nazis. So something like that. There was brainwash, we call it indoctrination, when the propaganda is part of your life and you have to follow the rules of the propaganda. There were mass rallies. This means that a lot of people turned out to listen to the leader, and he was super popular at the beginning. This YouTube link shows a speech of Mussolini. I would like you to listen to it, watch it, and you will see what kind of a speaker he was. I would like you to judge it or somehow understand what indoctrination means. Yes, in 1929 he also put an end to a really long debate. The Catholic Church and Mussolini signed the Lateran Pact or Concordat of Lateran Concordat. This means that Italy was really deep religious. So that means that Roman Catholicism and the respect of Pope was really important for Italian people, even today. So he settled the status of Vatican City as a state. It was signed, and some territories were given back to the Vatican as kind of lands. And it was finally agreed that the Roman Catholic Church will be state religion. Roman Catholicism will be state religion in Italy. Some pictures. Mussolini swimming showing that he is really potent. As you see here, this is very typical face of him, and he's very often he showed his naked body to the people, I mean naked chest, that he is a strong one. And of course we have other pictures about him as a mad guy. Mit kérek tőletek? Folytasd a jegyzetet ebben a Interwar periodben, a tankönyvben a 175-179. oldalon erősítsd meg azt, amit most hallottál tőlem, és a jegyzeted legyen teljes. Ez emelt szintű anyag, de legyen meg mindenkinek, mert azt gondolom, hogy enélkül nehéz lenne megérteni a második világháborút is, hiszen fontos lesz Olaszország jelenléte is, még hogyha nem is a legerősebb állam, sőt, de tudnunk kell róluk. Kérlek, nézd meg ezt a videólinket, amit mondtam a Mussolini beszédről, tehát kifejezetten izgalmas. Aki olaszos, az lehet, hogy még el is csípi majd a szavakat, de azt nézzétek meg, hogy hogy viselkedik. Majd összehasonlítjuk a többi nagy diktátorral, hogyha tanuljuk őket, a következő éppen Sztálin lesz. Köszönöm a figyelmeteket!